Welcome to Rare Connection, the podcast where dedicated to connecting rare disease patients, educating medical professionals and the general public, and advocating for the advancement of clinical trials for the 95% of rare conditions that currently lack FDA-approved treatment. I'm your host, Joanna, and today we have a very special guest with us. Our guest this week is Kadin, who was diagnosed too with autism, with high functioning autism. Kadin will share his unique journey and insights, shedding light on the challenges and unique triumphs he has experienced. Before we begin, please note the information discussed in this podcast is for educational purposes only, and always consult a medical professional before making any decisions based on what you hear or share or hear on this episode. Let's dive into Kadin's story and explore the world of high-functioning autism together. Kadin, can you tell us about your initial diagnosis with high-functioning autism and how it has impacted your life?
Absolutely, Joanna. Thanks for having me, by the way. I was diagnosed with autism when I was 2 years old, and people have told me, starting with my doctors and therapists, that I wouldn't be able to do anything because of that. In fact, the doctor said when I was first diagnosed, expect trade school for him, don't expect college. But my parents weren't going to have that, and they've been my biggest supporters since this journey of mine, and during this journey of mine. So they invested so much time and energy into me, occupational therapy, physical therapy, ABA therapy. And now, here I am, 20 years old as of today, and it doesn't really impact me as much. There's still the social stuff that I got to work on, which is a big thing in people with autism, but it doesn't really impact me that much. I would say I have it easy, especially at my age.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the early signs and symptoms that led to your diagnosis?
Well, I was 2 years old back then, so I probably don't remember every single little thing. But from what I've heard, the symptoms of autism in early childhood include things like not talking for a while, not looking people in the eye. It's like this. Like what I'm doing now, well, technically, in a way, I wasn't able to do that when I was 2 years old, look people in the eye directly. Sensitivities to sound and then light. Those are the three big ones in early childhood autism. But if we're talking about diagnosis as an adult, I was diagnosed that too, but for those adults, the symptoms of autism, especially high functioning, can just be misunderstanding certain social cues, having routine, things that you like to do every day or you're not yourself, having fascinations with certain things, that kind of thing.
See, what are some of the? Oh, that's right. You mentioned adults just now. Females, in particularly, are missed a lot as children. If somebody suspects they might have autism, be on the spectrum, how would they go about getting diagnosed?
Well, of course, they would get the standard screening and go to a doctor, as with anything else. But going about being diagnosed, to make a list of your symptoms, present it to your doctor, and they'll do a CAT scan. I don't know how they came about with my diagnosis. I don't know past early childhood autism is. I still got to look into that. It's probably a questionnaire like I said, I have no idea. I'm still learning about autism every day.
Yeah.
I would say talk to your doctor if you suspect anything. Make a list of your symptoms.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face on a daily basis due to your due to your condition?
First of all, think of autism as a gift from God because I have a heightened sense of intelligence, but the only thing it really impacts now is the social stuff, taking things literally, misunderstanding certain elements, misunderstanding facial expressions, and ironically, I'm majoring in public relations right now, and you got me on the nail with that type of social stuff.
How do you manage sensory sensitivities and other specific challenges associated with high-functioning autism?
Honestly, don't have any sensitivities. I used to when I was younger, but I don't have any anymore. I can handle light really well. I can handle sound.
How did you get past it?
Well, like I said, the occupational therapy, the physical therapy, the ABA therapy, all of that. When I was younger, I might have had those sensitivities, like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 years of age, so that kind of thing. But going into my teens, they became less and less. And now, I hardly have any.
What has your social life been like, and how have you navigated building relationships and friendships?
I haven't really done much socializing, but yeah, like I said, I don't really do much socializing beyond a close group of friends. The people I socialize with are my books. My number one focus right now is academics. All the people in college currently like to party and drink and vape and do drugs and think going to frats and wasting away their parents' tuition fee is okay. And I'm not into that. I'm a guy who believes rules should be followed. You should focus on your academics. So I don't really go out and socialize. I like to keep to myself and focus on my academics, and that's been very beneficial. I just got my 4th consecutive Dean's List in a row this past semester, and I'm hoping for a 5th this upcoming semester.
Are there any misconceptions about high-functioning autism that you'd like to address?
Yeah. One big misconception is that autism is caused by vaccinations. That's totally not true. I got my diagnosis at 2 right after I got smallpox vaccination, but that was pure coincidence. And number 2 is that people with autism are super low functioning, can't take care of themselves, and have to be put in a group home. That's not true. Newton was on the spectrum, and he still managed to make great strides in science. Friedrich Nietzsche was on the spectrum, made great strides in philosophy. Einstein, Dan Aykroyd, Elon Musk, all on the spectrum still had success. And that misconception, particularly that people with autism will amount to nothing, is spread wide thanks to various documentaries and media programs. There was one I watched this year that really made me sick called Autism Every Day that had parents of those with autism whining and complaining and moaning and groaning and making a huge fuss about how they were drafted into having a child with autism and that kind of thing. And what I feel like that the producers of that should have focused on the higher functioning side of autism too.
But what are some of your proudest achievements?
Well, of course, being able to go to college, that's an achievement on its own. Because there's a lot of people with autism who aren't as lucky as I am to be so high functioning and have a great support system that makes college possible. Well, especially for those on the low functioning side. So that's one of my proudest accomplishments.
Do you have any specific goals or aspirations for the future that you'd like to share?
Well, at first I wanted to do political or music PR, but now, as I'm getting into my junior year I'm thinking I want to do nonprofit PR, and then eventually, once I have success in that, and I retire from that, I want to run for some form of political office. I think we need more neurodiverse minds in political power.
How do you advocate for yourself and others with autism?
By doing what I'm doing now, going on platforms like this to spread my message, planning fundraisers, posting advocacy things I do on social media, that kind of thing. And of course, by going to college, going to work, doing all the exactly, Mr. Cheese. No one with autism is quote unquote disabled at all. Well, that's another misconception. But I advocate for myself and others by doing what I'm doing now.
What message would you like to convey to the public about autism and the importance of understanding and acceptance?
To just be kind to people, not just people with autism, but everyone. Look at the state of the world right now. We're all divided due to our differences, but if we realize that we're all the same, then maybe the world would be a much better place to be.
Are there any resources or organizations you recommend to for listeners who want to learn more and get involved?
There are several I could list, but one big one I'm a part of is Autism Society of America. They were the first organization I raised money for on this advocacy journey, and they have some really good resources. But honestly, any autism organization that focuses on helping those with autism live a fulfilling life, they're fair game.
What advice would you give to someone who recently has been diagnosed with autism and their families?
I would say you are amazing. Embrace who you are. And if people don't like you for who you are, then don't give them the time of day. Because everyone's missing out on an amazing person.
How can friends, educators, and employers better support individuals with high functioning autism?
I'm accepting them, including them in the workplace or the classroom. In fact, one big thing I'm advocating for currently is a mandatory training program for students and coworkers, actually students, parents, and faculty, before their child's even allowed to enroll in the school. Well, no exceptions, no admitting out of it. That not just for autism, quite frankly, but for all people with special needs, because bullying is very prevalent in schools. So I think programs like that could definitely help in the workplace, in the classroom.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about your journey with autism in general?
It's been rough, but I made it 20, and if I can go to college and do all these amazing things, you guys can too. Thanks for having me, Joanna.
Hang on a second here. We got one more. How can listeners connect with you and follow your journey?
They can follow me on Facebook at Kadin Ronald, KADINRONALD. Follow me on Instagram at 73 posts here, and read my work on the sports column at Kadin McElwain, KADINMCELWAIN.
Thank you, Kadin, for joining us today and sharing your inspiring journey with high-functioning autism. Your insights and experiences have given us a deeper understanding of the challenges and triumphs faced by individuals with autism on the autism spectrum. To our listeners, we hope this episode has provided valuable information and a greater appreciation for the unique experiences of those living with autism. Remember, the information shared on our Connection is for educational purposes only, and we encourage you to consult a medical professional for any personal health concerns or decisions. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health or suicidal thoughts, please reach out for help. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24/7 at 1-800-273-8255. You can also text hello to 741-741 to connect with a crisis counselor. For more information or for more resources and support, visit the Suicide Prevention Lifeline website at suicidepreventionlifeline.org. In addition, Rare Connection is expanding its mission, and we are looking for dedicated board members to join our newly forming nonprofit. If you are passionate about supporting the rare disease community and making a difference, we'd love to hear from you. Please email me at joanna.ball41@gmail.com. Or if you're listening to this on the audio-only version, you can also text me through the link in the show notes. I don't currently have a website up yet. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to Rare Connection and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us reach more people and continue our mission to connect rare disease patients, educate the public and medical professionals, and advocate for clinical trials. Stay tuned and for more inspiring stories and insightful discussions. Until next time, stay connected and take care. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Rare Connection.